considering I'm going to toss a pack of admonitions, little problem, and unflattering stories about this auto at you, I need to introduce this by saying the back-wheel drive Stinger GT does what's necessary well, that I really invested some energy with the configurator building one to, maybe, fill in as a family auto that can pull ass and a bundle of stuff. What's more, individuals, as well, in 5-man comfort, with a baby youngster situate in the blend. There's a considerable measure of clearance room Audi S7 claim to the thing, and it feels much snappier than its 0-60 number of 4.7 seconds would show. Another feature, the Brembo brakes, 13.8 creeps in advance clipped by 4-cylinder calipers, and 13.4 crawls in the back. They are sublime. The liftback is a decent touch, including some additional limit without a wagon profile that would make it hypersensitive to deals. I put it through an overwhelming certifiable test, a major stroller, a mammoth box of diapers, 2 rucksacks, 2 moving bags, and 2 or 3 armfuls of infant toys. With a little innovative stacking, everything went in without causing traveler compartment interruption. With encouraged improvement, there was even space to manage a really upsetting diaper emergency. The GT managed carefully with this inelegant circumstance. The ceramic silver pane, one of a frustratingly thin choice of outside hues, didn't dull the Stinger GT's effect much. It's a standout amongst the most good-looking and downplayed hues accessible, and all things being equal, it drew a great deal of consideration. Straight from infant conveying, and evolving, obligations, I took it to a SCCA track night in America occasion at the Ridge Circuit close Shelton, Washington, where the liftback freight territory gulped a tub loaded with devices and a hustling protective cap with a lot of space to save. For hell's sake, an arrangement of 4 edges with track tires could have fit, as well. Regardless of a solid field of intriguing autos in participation, everybody needed to get some information about the Stinger. I feel this shading hoses a portion of the auto's overstyling. It would look similarly as forceful with less false vents, and shows the offbeat taillight swell. Talking about track night, after around an hour of track time spread more than 3 individual sessions, not terrible for just $150. The Stinger GT never felt completely agreeable in its dynamic skin. It had the hurry to top 130 miles per hour on the front straight, and the brakes to pull it down before a super fun arrangement of tough S-bends instantly a short time later. Be that as it may, certain circumstances got the Stinger out. A track isn't the Stinger GT's regular habitat, yet a twisty street surely may be, so stiffer dampers, particularly in the back, would help shield the tail from jerking amid sudden changes in street camber, or hitting blemishes. Little move paddles and a fairly sluggish move reaction from the programmed-in manual move were sufficiently disturbing that I exited it in auto mode, an exceptionally uncommon event. In like manner, it was difficult to nourish control and easily enough to shield surging lift from squirming the back end. Drive the Stinger GT hard on a blustery street, and it's an issue, as well. For an auto with this kind of execution potential, it'd be pleasant if the power conveyance were as exact and simple to balance as the brakes. Those brakes merit a considerable measure of credit, incidentally, to help to relieve things when, as I was taking in the track and the auto, I got somewhat crossed up. A last concern, skeleton firmness. From the absence of exact criticism from the front end when totally stacked in a turn, to a perturbing squeaking over each raised access to a service station that put a heap on one corner, this Stinger may profit by some supporting. It's a major, substantial, long wheelbase auto with a monster gap for the liftgate. To be reasonable, none of that assists with firmness. Indeed, even with that admonition, there's more flex than you'd expect, and this undermines its generally persuading air regarding quality and ability. Eventually, it's a significantly more persuading tourer than Trackstar, as you'd expect, despite the fact that the delta between the parts was more articulated than foreseen. Long separate interstate solace was radiant, as our contributing editor James Riswick discovered on his epic excursion from Colorado to Oregon in an AWD Stinger GT. There's simply enough inside outline inventiveness prepared into the dash to abstain from being exhausted at the view from in the driver's seat, and specifically, the T-handle shifter is an incredible place to rest your hand at a stoplight. Basically, it's a pleasant place to be with agreeable, sensibly supported seats that should fit an extensive variety of bodies. There's very little direct rivalry. The Regal GS is maybe nearest, however does not have the Stinger GT's demeanor or push. As a no alternatives, base Stinger GT, my analyzer was $39,250 out the entryway. For that sort of cash, you can get greater common sense or more power, yet no persuading blend regarding both. Kia could without much of a stretch dial in the Stinger GT more in a mid-cycle revive to resolve the last wrinkles, however I don't know anybody needs to sit tight for that projection. The takeaway from this 7-day stretch of extremes, tyke raising ordinariness and track shenanigans, is that the Stinger GT is best in the middle. There's space for loads of gear, the taking care of at around 75% of as far as possible is dazzling, and the sheer speeding up is addictive. It speaks to a decentish team, as well, given its substantial and elusive charms. Kia appears to have something to be thankful for going here, and keeping in mind that there's space to enhance, it surely functions admirably for how it'll be utilized by genuine proprietors. Presently, on the off chance that you'll pardon me, I will play with the configurator more.